Hi. Are you learning CSS for beginners and want to know all about CSS media queries, how they work, and how to use them in real world projects? If so, you're in the right place. So here we are in our example project. On the left, we can see we have the examples.html file, and we also have the examples CSS file opened up. And I've just scrolled down to create new HTML and CSS. And on the right, we can see we're in our examples project. And we click down the examples page and scroll down to the bottom. So for this media query example, let's start by creating a simple div. Then we set its height, width, and background color, and set its color. So we're just going to go div. We're going to go back into the tag and create class. And we're going to call this media query example. And we're not going to put anything into this div. We're just going to use the CSS to make it visible to us. So media query example is the name of the class we have on it. So let's go into our CSS file now. And let's set this div up. We go dot for class. What we call it, media query example. Open and close curly brackets. So let's see its width. We'll set to 100%. It'll go the full width of our browser on the right. And height, we'll set for 5 EM. That's 5 times the default text size we have on the screen. Now let's set background color. We can't see it yet, of course, because there's no color. Let's set background color to orange. And click save and refresh on your browser. And you can see on the bottom here, we can actually see the div now is the full width and orange. So here's a small trick. I want to move that div up a bit more on the page. Of course, there's nothing on the bottom of the page. So I'm going to use the HTML element BR, which means page break. I'm just going to copy and paste that a few times and click save. Put in page breaks and I can scroll up. Now, so here we are. We have our div on the right with 100%, height 5 EM, background color orange. So now I want a media query now to detect when the screen size is less than 700 pixels and change the color of the background. So let's go at media. So it's at media screen, and inside brackets, the condition we want, we'd say max width, colon. Let's set it to 700 pixels, 700 px for pixels. That means if this CSS detects it's a smaller than 700 pixels window like a mobile or some tablets, it'll do this CSS. So what do we want this to do then once it goes below 700 pixels? Well, we want to change the color of the media query example class that we have. So let's go dot class that we have put in, media query example. We're going to set the background color to red, and let's save it. So what's this going to do? At the minute, our div is over 600 pixels wide, so it stays orange. When we resize the screen down now, the CSS will recognize when it goes under 700 pixels and hopefully change the background color of this class to red. So let's go to our browser on the right now. And let's go into DevTools, so F12 on Windows. And we can see here now we're in DevTools and we have the div. So you can click and drag. One thing to note is up here on the top you can see there's a mobile screen icon. You can click that and go into Dimensions, Responsive. That's one way to see. We can see it actually changes there less than 700 pixels. Or you can simply leave the mobile tab clicked off and just resize the browser window. So we can see here, once it goes under 700 pixels, it turns to red. Over 700 pixels, it's back to orange again. How cool is that? The media query recognizes once the max width is under 700 pixels and changes our background color to any class we want. Hi, I hope you found this video helpful. If so, please like, share, comment and subscribe so you don't miss out on any upcoming videos in the Web Development for Beginners playlist. See you next time.